Hotel History is created for adult audiences. Content may not be suitable for all listeners. Discretion is advised. You're listening to Hotel History. We take you with us through the sordid history and scandals of some of the world's most famous and infamous hotels. I'm Dieta.
And I'm Yael. Let's get started. So welcome back. We're doing something a little bit different this episode. We have a new series that we're going to explore fictional hotels and inns where we pick about whichever one comes to mind from our favorite TV show or movie, and we talk about it.
Yeah, so if you guys have any ideas, please feel free to send them to us. Otherwise, we're just going to do the shows that we like.
Yeah. So for our first episode, we're going to do something we both are really excited about. It is the Independence Inn and Dragonfly Inn from the Gilmore Girls. And is there any other inns? And the inn that it's based off, which is real. So this is a half fictional
This will
episode, half real episode.
We had to just dip our toe in. We could only do half fictional.
But we're going to call it this full episode.
2 out of 3,
Yeah.
you know.
Yeah, so we're both obsessed with Gilmore Girls, like many of you. I'm assuming anyone listening is obsessed with Gilmore Girls. Otherwise, you'd probably skip this episode.
Right, yeah.
So if anyone doesn't know the show Gilmore Girls, first of all, welcome to the world. And go on to your Netflix account.
What have you been watching on Netflix for the past 5 years, 6 years?
So the show came out in 2001, I think, on WB, which used to be a channel on Channel 11 for those of you who are too young to know what regular TV was.
It was Channel 2 for me.
Oh, it was Channel 2?
Mm-hmm.
See, I wouldn't know that. I was living in my New York bubble. And it's a show about a mother and daughter relationship. I feel like explaining it is so stupid because you can just Google it if you really don't know, but who doesn't know the show? And it like became really popular. It's still really popular. I watch it all the time. I know every episode. I'm what are the fans called? Like GG heads?
Oh, I don't know. Actually, I've never seen a name for the Gilmore Girls fans. There should be a name.
There probably is. I know there's like Team Jess and Team Dean, but that's more of the boyfriends.
Stars Hollow Whores.
Dozies.
Nobody's gonna be named after Dozy.
Dozies but there has to be a better name. Yeah. There's they come up with cute phrases all the time on the show, so you're telling me a fan hasn't come up with a cute phrase?
Yeah. Or that Amy Sherman Palladino doesn't have a name for Gilmore Girls fans. I bet she'd have a great one.
She probably calls them annoying.
That's fair.
So a little bit more about why we're talking about the show is that in the show, Lorelai, the mother, the main character, runs the town's inn.
Yeah.
Right? And she's the manager of the inn, and it's a big part of the show. And then eventually she goes and she opens her own inn, which is called the Dragonfly Inn. So the inn she worked at was the Independence Inn. That gets sold. Then she goes and she works. Then she opens the Dragonfly Inn. We should also warn spoilers.
Yeah, a little late.
I know.
I'll edit a spoiler alert right before.
Spoiler alert. We're going to have a lot of spoilers. It's an old show.
No, there's got to be a statute of limitations on spoilers. If it's been out in the public,
but maybe
pop
someone's
culture,
just starting and they don't want to know. Okay,
yeah,
spoiler alert. Spoiler
then you
alert.
shouldn't be listening to a podcast about a show you haven't finished yet.
But we're only supposed to be talking about the inns.
The Dragonfly happens in the 6th or 7th season. What do you want from us?
The 5th season. Oh my God. How do you not know? I'm kidding. I don't know actually if that's true. Yeah, no. Okay. Well, if you don't want to hear any spoilers, don't listen to this episode or listen after you watch the show. But
yeah, you can listen for like the next 5 minutes because we're going to talk about just the inspiration behind Stars Hollow and all of that.
Yeah. So if anyone, a lot of people who watch the show, maybe they don't know the whole story behind Gilmore Girls is, and I feel like I said Gilmore Girls, like it's a mouthful for me. I don't know why. Do you hear it? Gilmore Girls. I'm like smushing the words together. So the creator, Amy Sherman Palladino, said that she got inspired to make the show based off a trip she had in some little town in
Washington, Connecticut.
Yeah, Washington, Connecticut. And then
I think the whole like Litchfield Hills region kind of had served different areas, inspired different aspects, but mostly Washington.
Yeah. Well, it's called Washington Depot, which is, I don't know, it's like the little area or downtown. I don't know. When you look at a map, it like goes Washington, then Washington Depot or something. If you look at it, you'll know what I'm talking about.
Is it like a neighborhood inside Washington?
I think it's a neighborhood. Yeah. So she did it based on that. And then she based the Independence Inn on a real inn called the Mayflower Inn and Spa in Washington, in the same area. And ever since the show, that area has like blown up, and they even have a Gilmore Girls festival. I've been there. Not at the festival, but I've been to the neighborhood. It's really cute. And everyone knows anyone who comes is like a Gilmore Girls fan. And they're like, oh, this bitch, she's here. But
I'm
it is
sure
really
it's easy
nice
to tell.
It's so nice there. It is really nice there.
So Amy Sherman Palladino actually had already had the idea to do a show about a mother-daughter dynamic, but she just hadn't started writing it yet. And so this trip, I think, really helped cement a lot of those ideas of what the show was going to be for her in her head.
So she came with it before.
Yeah, she already had like the concept, but she didn't. But I think the trip just like blew her away, and really she was like, "This is the setting." Like she didn't have a setting for it.
Such a good job.
Yeah, she really did.
She did a really good job. She like hits the hominess so well. So, I have a question for you. And I already know the answer, but I'm going to ask anyways. Independence Inn or Dragonfly Inn?
Oh, I actually don't know. I've never thought about it. No.
Which team are you?
I didn't know there were separate teams. In
my head, they're separate teams.
I don't know.
Dragonfly.
I don't know. I really don't. I've never thought about it.
Because the Dragonfly is her inn. It's like
I mean, probably, spirit. Yeah, because it's like, yeah.
But at the same time, I remember when I first saw the episodes about the Dragonfly, and I'm like, it's a little much. They like OD'd on the cutesy.
Yeah.
No, like all the frames on the wall and the overpowering like paisley rose, and like it was like too much. It almost reminded me of the episode where they go to that inn, the Cheshire Cat.
Oh yeah.
And she was like, ew. But I'm like, dude,
yeah,
you
it's
just
like
made it
her version of ew.
Yeah.
Yeah.
The dining area is really nice.
Yeah.
But it just, the living room and stuff is like a lot. It's a little bit, it gives you a headache. I think if they toned it down, it would have been perfect. But the Independence Inn has like that old colonial vibe, and like it's historical. So I do like that, but it's not as personal as the Dragonfly.
That's fair. Yeah, I could see that. Yeah, there's it's warm, but there's a little bit of a distance for the Independence.
Yeah.
Yeah.
So you still don't know which ones?
No, I would have to like watch episodes of them like side by side to really like make my choice.
You can't do that because then you get like your feelings involved. Are you
saying your feelings aren't involved?
Obviously not. I'm looking at this 100% objectively, like just on the decor. No, because the first seasons are of the Independence Inn, and then the other seasons are with the other one. So it's like a totally different vibe. Like Rory, spoiler alert, loses her virginity on the night of the Dragonfly opening.
That's true. So yeah, I wouldn't want to taint my perception of the Dragonfly based on how upset I am with all the characters' choices.
But then there's two. The opening night of the Dragonfly was like one of the best episodes, in my opinion. Okay, obviously this is all my opinion, because Luke and Lorelai get together.
Mm-hmm.
It's like really exciting and fun, and then the drama with Rory, which was not the good part, actually. And then she finds out that her parents are separating for the time.
There's a lot of drama.
Yeah, that's like not too much for one day.
Yeah.
And then everyone doesn't have their doors, and they go with their door or whatever. I don't know. That was like they emphasized the stress of her opening the inn,
mm-hmm.
but at the same time, I don't think they emphasized it enough because they made it almost seem like too easy.
Yeah.
Like it was hard.
And I feel like that's something that Palladino always does, is like, it's not the business thing that they're trying to achieve that's hard for them. It's the life thing that's always hard for them. Like Rory was such a great student, never had to work that hard for it, but like her personal relationships were messy. Same thing with Lorelai. She was like great at being a manager and then buying and running her own inn, but her relationships were always a mess.
I think something's got to give. Yeah, otherwise it'd be too perfect. You can't have everything. That's not fair. You can't be eating junk food and skinny and gorgeous and funny and have your shit together. Like, no.
Yeah.
Then you need to have like a drug problem. Like,
well, it's kind of the same thing for Marvelous Mrs. Maisel, another Palladino show. Midge is too good at comedy too fast. So the main problems she has are in her relationships.
Yeah, there's a common thread.
Yeah. So
why does she do that to her character?
I don't know. I want to see somebody have to work really hard to be better at their chosen profession.
It wouldn't be as entertaining.
Because we're having to work so damn hard.
I'd like to see a
be better at this.
A man character that she makes is as fucked up as the women characters. But I think if she makes a male character like she does her women, that guy would be a douchebag and no one would like him, and then she'd be canceled. Yeah. Because it's like, who is this character who goes around thinking they're the shit and like treating women like garbage?
So besides the Independence Inn being inspired by the Mayflower Inn, which is where Amy Sherman Palladino stayed when she was in Washington, Connecticut, a few of the other locations also kind of translated directly into Stars Hollow businesses. So she ate at Marty's Cafe, which is a diner there, and she loved that everyone who lived there like came there to eat, and they all knew each other and were talking to each other, and it was just this very homey place. So that becomes Luke's. The Washington Food Market, they say, could have inspired Dosey's Market, and the Hickory Stick Bookshop becomes Stars Hollow Books, which I wish they would have given that a better name than just Stars Hollow Books.
Yeah, because the Hickory Stick Bookshop,
that's cute.
Yeah. And I've been inside. It is a really nice bookshop. So
So I'm like, try a little harder. And then the Frederick Gunn School actually inspired Chilton. It is a prep school that's in Washington, Connecticut, that was founded in 1850. And its mission includes, to this day, intellectual strength, moral courage, physical rigor, and character.
I will also add that Chilton was inspired by a couple of prep schools in Connecticut. I think Rosemary, I'm going to fuck up the name. I keep on saying the inappropriate name for it. It's Rosemary Choate.
Instead of Chode?
Yes, exactly. I think, hold on, Rosemary, it's Rosemary, Choate Rosemary Hall. That's the name. And that was the inspiration also for Chilton. But yeah, everyone calls it Choate.
Yeah, I definitely have to say Chilton is a better name than either Rosemary Choate or Frederick Gunn, like either one. So
I feel like it's illegal to have the word gun in a school name.
yeah, even if it does have two. And this is Gunn,
No,
but
we all,
still.
yeah, that's not.
Yeah, still. A couple other towns that they say also inspired it, including New Milford, Bantam, and Litchfield. And on New Milford's town green, that's where there's a gazebo, because Washington doesn't actually have a gazebo. But Stars Hollow, obviously, is not Stars Hollow without its gazebo. And yeah, and there's a lot of antique shops like between the different towns that could have inspired Mrs. Kim's shop, but no one specifically that we know of.
So both inns are supposed to be historical. So the Independence Inn has been around since, I mean, everything about that town, they're like, oh, pre-Revolutionary War, blah, blah, blah. They always have like some event with the revolution.
Mm-hmm.
We can't find any real history on the inn. But we're assuming it's old in this make-believe town. And so Lorelai's the manager, and she has her best friend, Sookie, who's the chef, and Michelle Gerard, who's the assistant manager. But the inn itself is owned by Mia Bass, who took Lorelai in when she came to Stars Hollow, right?
Right, yeah, because Lorelai started working there as a maid, and Mia let her and Rory live in like the little gardener's shed.
Oh yeah, that's so cute.
Yeah,
that would have been nice. I mean, today they can totally Airbnb that place out. And make
yeah,
more
for
money.
real, make a lot more money.
It looked so fun to work there. I wish working in hospitality was that fun. It's really not.
Yeah.
Maybe because it was so tight knit, and she was the manager. She got to set the vibe.
Yeah, I love that because Michelle is French, she gets to say what everyone in hospitality is always thinking.
Yeah, but also he never gets fired.
Yeah.
And this is the problem with television. They have these characters that will say things that for the joke, and they're like, haha, oh, they're just being crabby. Try saying that in real life.
Yeah.
And you'd be fired so fast.
So fast.
Nothing like that flies, even if you try to be subtle about it. But it's fun to watch, because I think the inn it's a big part of like the center of the town spirit, I guess, because so many things go on there. And there's a lot of episodes where, everything is based in the inn. So they have Sookie's wedding there. They have a fashion show.
The Bracebridge dinner.
Oh, yes, the Bracebridge dinner. That looked like so much fun.
So much fun. Please, somebody do that.
We should do that. Is there a hotel or an inn or anyone out there who would want us to host an event where everyone pretends they're in the
medieval?
Is it medieval
Christmas times or whatever? I'll put on that outfit if I have to that they make Jackson wear.
I don't think it should be that era. Let's do like Jane Austen. Okay, like Jane Austen's like trending right now, so we can hop on that trend. Maybe we could talk a Shakespearean dinner.
Okay, well, that's not Jane Austen, but that's closer to Bracebridge.
I know. I'm going all over the place.
It'd be fun either way.
Let us know if you want to fund this event. It'd be a lot of fun. Get horse-drawn carriages, which I don't know how they got away with that. Also, Lorelai's mother holds her DAR meetings there because that's what she does to manipulate Lorelai. Oh my God. Do you remember the episode where Richard's mother, Lorelai's
yes,
they go and she's like, okay, I want my dishes to come out, and like Emily's just like, I'm not done with my pee. That was so good. Oh, and the wedding, Sookie's wedding at the Independence Inn was really cute.
Yes.
That was fun. Whenever they had a scene in the kitchen also with like the food, that was all fake, right?
Yeah.
It must have been all fake, although it looks so pretty
Yeah.
and delicious.
Speaking of someone who would have gotten fired, Sookie was like a great chef, but what a freaking insurance hazard she was.
Yeah.
Oh my God.
Yeah. When she was like always changing up the menu.
Changing up the menus and just like starting fires in the kitchen and just being like, don't worry about that. Like she was so clumsy.
Yeah, she was always cutting her hand and burning herself and like...
Yeah, like workman's comp had to have been a nightmare for Mia.
Well, she probably didn't sue her.
Well, no, but you still have to, if you get injured on the job, you have to file workman's comp. I bet that was happening all the time.
Oh, maybe.
Lorelai is the manager, so she's going to be the one who has to do it. And Sookie's her best friend, so she's going to be like, well, here we go.
Okay, yeah. I have to say, I think they realized how silly they made her character, and towards the end of the seasons they made her more like gotta get her shit together.
Functional human.
Well, a big thing was also in the beginning when, I mean, I don't know if we should talk about this right now, when they start the Dragonfly and how basically Lorelai calls her out on being all MIA, and she's like, well, I have a baby, and it's like, bitch, the whole town would watch your kid if you need to. Like, that's kind of like, shut up. Like, you don't have parents. Like, that kind of was a lame excuse. Like, she's just like, I'm so absent-minded. But then if you know that you're going to be busy, then you let the other person, you know, and she didn't let her, whatever. I don't know. It was very frustrating. And I felt like after she called her out, like the character change, like they did that on purpose. Yeah, because how long can you go with being like the silly kooky friend?
Oh, that's just me. Oh,
yeah.
Yeah.
I didn't like that. Oh, but I think also after she got married and pregnant, she became more serious.
Yeah, that'll do it to you.
Yeah,
so
she had to,
that does make sense. Yeah, because you can't just be leaving your baby on the stove.
Right. That's what Okay, one of my favorite episodes where it really focused on the inn a little bit was, I guess it didn't really focus on it. Did it? I can't remember. It's the episode where they kind of go back in time. Not go back in time. This is not a sci-fi. They have like a memory, like she remembers when she was 16.
Yeah.
She goes to the inn and like it's like you kind of got a vibe of what it was like. So it has a lot of her history, and I thought they did a really good job with that. But I think it's just not hard to believe, maybe because I'm so cynical and jaded from this world, to think that a 16-year-old could come into what you think of now as like the Mayflower Inn, say, hey, house me and give me a job. Like, get the fuck out of here. Like, what if they would do that, I'd be really impressed. Like, I think that's really nice. And she obviously proved herself.
I could see it happening in a town that small in the 80s.
In the 80s?
Yeah. I feel like, I could definitely see that happening in a small town in the 80s. I don't know that if I could see it happening now.
Right.
But especially because now everybody is so connected. You'd be like, okay, I know you haven't lost touch with your family. Like, what's going on?
Well, if let's say they're running away from an abusive relationship, you're not going to ask that question. But the fact that if someone, a 16-year-old needs a job, like, first of all, most jobs now require you to be 18.
No, not anymore. In a lot of states, they're lowering the age.
Oh, well, the state. Oh, wait, but by the time, no.
Yeah, I got my first job when I was 15.
I got my first job when I was 12.
Yeah, I mean,
that wasn't legal.
I'm sorry, my first legal job was when I was 15. I had prior jobs.
My first legal job. What do you mean legal?
Like, I was old enough to work
like
in the state.
Signed, like a W-2?
I had an employee. Yeah, I made minimum wage.
Oh, my first legal job wasn't until I was like 19. I only did a legal job. I didn't even know there was a term legal and illegal for job. It's like you can work. Come on, let's go. Like, there were no rights. They're just like, we give you money, you do the job. Hush, hush, whatever. But wow, I wish I knew what I know now. But yeah, no, she was okay. She wasn't 16. She had Lorelai She got pregnant at 16. No, she had Rory, and then I think she lived at her parents for a year based on the math and like whatever. And then she goes. So she was probably around closer to 18. But still, even if you're 18, that kind of sucks that you would only have a small town to go to and you can't go to a big city or anything like that, anything bigger than like a few thousand people in a town, because they just wouldn't take you seriously.
Yeah. Well, and you wouldn't be able to afford to live anywhere there.
That's true. So then you would only live in but most towns in America are not these cute little nice towns. They're like, cesspools of meth and and like crime. Like they're not
Lucky
the nice.
for Lorelai, she was born in Connecticut.
Yeah, she's like, I'm going to live on my own 30 minutes away in one of the richest neighborhoods in America.
You're a fighter, Lorelai.
Yeah.
You're a survivor. These streets.
Yeah, she worked her way up. I mean, she did, but I don't know if she would be able to do it now. Let's say hypothetically you have a kid who's from Hartford, doesn't want to talk to their parents, not because they were Republicans, because they were like abusive. And so it leaves, and then they go. Let's say they did try to go 30 minutes away to this Mayflower Inn. I'm like curious to know how come it wouldn't work that way. And it probably wouldn't be a Mayflower. It'd be like a Best Western. Realistically, realistically, this wouldn't pan out anyway, the way it did in Gilmore Girls. There's no way. It would be like you are in a McDonald's or a Best Western. Were those things beneath her? Did they not exist? They existed back in the 80s?
Yeah, they did, but not in Stars Hollow. I think that's the only inn in Stars Hollow. So maybe that was that when she fled. Maybe that's the first town she came to on the interstate.
What? Yeah, like, did she just take her car and drive and then stopped? It's just bizarre. I don't know. I guess it's just happenstance that, like, in the 80s, she doesn't have any internet, so she just is like, all right, I'm going to go to the town next to my town, and then good luck. And then you ask that lady where the closest inn is. But I don't know. I have so many questions. I understand if that's what happened, but I just can't imagine that happening now. The competition is just too hot. You're like competing with a lot of people for those jobs. I know that sounds crazy. I'm just really jaded. I'm sorry. I'm just so over TV's fantasies.
Yeah. But literally, that's the whole point of TV.
I know.
It's to suspend your belief.
I know. This is why I actually like Gilmore Girls, because I think it does take me out, and I'm like, in some alternate universe, someone could get a job. It's so nice. And, like working in hospitality seems like a dream. But, okay, so whatever. She has all this experience. She's at the inn. And then her and Sookie have this dream to open their own inn. Luke's girlfriend introduces her to the Dragonfly property. Do you remember this episode?
Yeah, she goes, Luke's girlfriend is a photographer, and she goes and takes, kind of like in our last Borscht Belt episode, how Marissa Scheinfeld went and took photos of the different Borscht Belt hotels. That's kind of what Luke's girlfriend was doing with this inn. Yeah,
she had a really cool job. She was a photojournalist, and I love how everyone was like so mad at her. You're always leaving. I'm like, good. She has an awesome job. Yeah. She lives in an amazing life, and you're gonna guilt her. Like, I'm sorry,
because
she was too good for that whole town.
Yeah,
I'm glad she left. I think Luke would have held her back, to be honest, and I think she knew that
the small town life is not for everyone, and that is okay.
But it's not even that. It's like she probably could have made it work, but it's the small town mentality.
Yeah, well, she wasn't weird enough.
Yeah, she was too put together.
She was way too normal.
She was too interesting.
Yeah, and so she was interesting in like a you have a cool career kind of way. She wasn't interesting in like you're a high all the time jazz musician with
yeah.
cats. Like,
No, yeah, that's what I meant. Yeah, she wasn't like quirky at all.
Yeah.
She was very normal. She definitely wasn't Kirk.
Yeah.
But she
Long live Kirk.
Yeah. It was good that she didn't settle. Like, honestly, I think she probably has done better things with her life and career
Than Rory ever thought about.
You see, I think Rory, if she wasn't so full of herself, could have been a Rachel.
Yeah.
Like, she should have actually. I'm shocked that she wasn't more interested in that character. As like
That's true. Yeah, because Rory wants to be a journalist. And so a photojournalist is not exactly the same as a foreign correspondent, but she's going to have a lot of connections and know a lot about the world. So, yeah, why is Rory not picking her brain?
Because she didn't go to Yale. She didn't go to
Harvard.
an Ivy League. She probably had to go to a state school or whatever. I don't know if she did. And so what's the point? Yeah. So Rachel shows them the property. The property is this dilapidated old inn, and then they find out that a local Fran owns the inn, but she's never going to sell it to anyone. And she doesn't believe that she's going to die either.
I guess. Yeah. What is with, you're an old lady. What do you need this property for that you're not doing anything with?
I don't know. It was so weird because they're like, okay, well, we get it's in your family, but you don't have any kids. So what happens when you go on the long vacation? Do you remember the scene? And she's like, what do you mean? I'm like, okay, so Fran, you have a very successful business and you're pretending to be this stupid. Like, are you really that stupid?
Yeah.
You know? And then she dies, and then.
But there really are people out there who are just like, as long as they're alive, they don't want anyone to have what they had.
Which is, it goes with the theme of Stars Hollow, the town full of narcissists. Yeah. Every single character on that show is so problematic and so self-absorbed.
Yeah,
they cannot see how their actions affect others. But they do it in a cutesy way. So it's fine.
Yeah.
I don't know. But eventually she dies. You know what? It's better how that happened because it wasn't given to anyone and they didn't need to negotiate with her, which they would have felt bad if it,
Yeah.
So she dies and then they buy it off her estate, or I don't even know how that
because they negotiate the deal at her funeral, right? With the family attorney.
Yeah, they're like, so what's going to happen? But I would have done the same thing.
Real estate, you got to move in.
Yeah, I wouldn't have waited. At the funeral was when you want to pounce. Like, I'm shocked no one else was standing next to the guy and being like, so what's happening with all her stuff? So they buy the Dragonfly.
Of course, the catalyst, though, for them being able to do this is because of what happens to the Independence Inn.
Right.
Because there's a terrible fire.
Yes. And so they have to close the inn. They have their own catering company. But Mia, the owner, has been wanting to sell the inn anyways. And then a few seasons later, it's the fire. And then they're like, okay, well, now's the time. My question, there's so many financial questions I think a lot of people have with Gilmore Girls and in general, most shows, especially during the 90s. They're because I know if you're thinking how I'm thinking is, okay, so the property is this much and they have this much. So the down payment is that. And where's that money that they're getting the construction? And how much is construction in the early 2000s? Something does not make sense because I don't know if she gets a loan. So she buys the property. How much is that property? It was probably not that much.
Yeah,
still.
I don't remember because she does get a loan from Luke.
But that's while she's already hemorrhaging money.
Yeah.
So she got $75,000 from her father.
Yeah.
She wants to give it to Yale. Yale doesn't qualify Rory for the financial aid or something.
Right, because of that money, yeah.
But then does she give it to Yale and she takes it?
I can't remember.
Oh, she does use it because then Rory says, I'm going to get my grandparents to pay for it, and then I'll go to the dinners, and then you take that money and buy and put a down payment on for the inn. So it's between her and Sookie. So we're both assuming that they're investing. Okay, so you have this dilapidated place. Let's say you put a down payment. Let's say they got it for, I don't know, 300,000 or something. How much would a down payment be for that? What?
Like
20,000?
20 to 30,000. Like 30,000 is going to be a 10% down payment. So 20% is going to be 60,000, right?
Okay, so let's say 60,000. Okay, that's like, so let's say she gives 30 and Sookie gives 32. So then you have whatever left over, 45,000. Like, is that enough to redo a whole I know this sounds crazy, but I'm like really sitting.
And like, where is Sookie's money coming from? Because Jackson is a farmer and she works at the same place that Lorelai works. So if Lorelai doesn't have the money and she's getting it from her parents, where is Sookie getting coming up with her investment money? Or is it all coming from Lorelai?
Sookie also seems like the kind of person who would save her money.
Yeah, she does.
Even though she's crazy.
Yeah, but she doesn't like what she's spending her money on. Like, she lives in Stars Hollow. She just.
But then Lorelai seems really irresponsible with her money. She's like, I have no money, but let's all eat out all the time.
Anyway, so the Dragonfly Inn's financial statements don't make a lot of sense.
That's what I'm trying to get to. This was never going to be a straight, easy conversation. I have too many opinions about the show. But yeah, okay, so Lorelai is hemorrhaging money. She was going to ask Luke. She has like a breakdown. Luke gives her $30,000 in a loan for renovations. But then once it is done, it's really pretty. And then she gets written up about. And then she also like has opportunities to expand the Dragonfly or be like a business consultant with that guy that her grandfather sets her up with. And then Luke gets all weird about it. What was that? Do you know what I'm talking about?
No.
Okay, so Lorelai's dad introduces her to this guy, Mike Armstrong, to like have a dinner or a lunch or something because he's interested in investing in the inn and for her to become like a consultant.
Yeah, I
like
remember
she
that.
Can go and travel. And Luke got all weird about it.
See, I don't remember that part. I've watched the earlier seasons way more than the later seasons, so they're not as like firmly in my head.
Luke is all weird because they're always like weird shit between them, but I don't know if like they were working on that house that he wanted to buy her, and like Dean was there, and he's like, they always want more, so he's getting all insecure, and he's like, you're gonna leave me and travel. She's like, I'm not. But I'm also thinking, what? She's not gonna, it's not like she's gonna move away. If she's a consultant, she might have to go on some trips, but like, you both don't have little kids. You have your own businesses, your own freedom. You can go with her. Yeah. Go travel with her.
Yeah. Hire somebody to take care of the diner.
Like you, and there are, so many people that you trust in the town that, you're not in the middle of a city where it's like, I don't know if they'll be able to handle the stress. Yeah. Like, just go with her, have fun, support her career. No, instead he gets all weird. And she is like, oh, okay, well, I'm not going to do it. But she got really excited talking about it with Sookie. And Sookie's like, well, I'm married with kids. I can't really go either. But that's also temporary. Like, yeah, right now your kids are young. But in a few years.
But also, how long do you think these trips are going to be? Like, they're business trips. Like, you might be gone for a weekend. You might be gone for like a week for some longer ones. But like, it's not going to be that much.
I don't know. There was just so many things. Again, so many questions. Everyone's like, this is the end of the world. I want to talk about the two horses, Cletus and Desdemona. Mm-hmm. Am I saying that right? Yeah. That was a cute touch, but also really expensive. But now that I'm thinking about it, imagine going to a little inn. It's like, do you want a horseback ride? And I'm like, oh, okay.
That's true. That's not to go back to the money issue, but horses are expensive, so that they're also having to pay for that while they're trying to pay back all the money. Yeah. Their mortgage. Wow.
I think they just were in debt. Yeah. I think that was it. They were just in debt forever. But the inn does do pretty well. And then there's the episode where they changed the street names.
Oh my God. Yeah. So it's located on 3rd Street. And then it gets changed to Sores and Boils Alley, based off of, I guess that was what it was called back in like the early times of of when the town. So they're trying to change the street names back to more traditional names. But it's actually revealed that 3rd Street has had several names throughout its history, including Constabulary Road, Krusty Bulge.
I think that was a made-up name.
I hope so. And a Nipmuc name that I am not even going to try to pronounce. But it's supposed to mean you fish on your side of the lake, I'll fish on my side, and no one will fish in the middle. But Kirk said it could also mean buffalo. So.
Yeah, that was funny. And then when they didn't want to, when they wanted to keep 3rd, they were like not included on the map. Taylor Dozy was a asshole.
Oh my God. I mean, there's definitely at least one like him in every single small town, but geez, they really like took all of the worst aspects of those types of people and made it one character.
Yeah. Like he didn't have kids. He wasn't married. He had nothing else going on.
Yeah.
Except like his obsession with the town.
Yeah. Well, and like he's like slowly trying to buy the town up so that he can just control everything. He's such a little despot.
Yeah.
Like that's what people who can't be tyrants in the big world do, is they just do it in their little towns.
But I like how really, I mean, they all talk back to him, but when Luke does it, I'm like, yeah, don't make it easier. What is he gonna do if you think about it?
Yeah.
The only thing is, with the permit for building the Dragonfly, and Lorelai was like, "Oh my fucking God!" She was like freaking out.
Yeah.
That was just a little bit of a taste of what it's like in New York to do anything.
My God.
Only the problem is you're not just having Taylor Dozy coming and saying don't do it. It's you're getting ticketed and fines and like is he gonna really give you a fine, Taylor Dozy?
And even if he did, would you pay it or would you rip it up? And
Exactly.
Yeah, and I can't remember how that all works out, but it eventually gets to finally be Oak Tree Lane, and I can't remember how that happens.
I'm pretty sure there's a threat on Taylor Dozy's life. Something happens, and then they figure it out. But there's always like someone threatening him.
I bet he gets a lot of like nasty anonymous letters in his mailbox of people.
I don't blame. One of the things I really liked is on the opening night of the Dragonfly, they did. She invited the whole town, and she had game night. That was really cute.
Yeah,
like the whole thing was very cute. I wish I could have experienced something like that.
Yeah,
and the kitchen is done really well. Like the kitchen in the Independence Inn is more industrial, and then the kitchen in the Dragonfly Inn is like more. You feel like you're in it. Yeah, someone's kitchen.
A real kitchen. Yeah.
They did a really nice job. And there's like an episode a few episodes after or whatever, they're showing basically the beginning, and she gets like obsessive over the place where she's like, oh my God, they haven't cleaned the spot. They need to do. I relate to her. Like I can see myself, like the OCD. I understood her OCD. It's like she works so hard and everything needs to be perfect.
Yes.
Oh, and the cutest thing is when they had the event with the girls and their dolls. I call them American Girl dolls, but I don't know what they call them. And they had like a little tea party.
Yes,
with the dolls.
that was cute.
That was really cute.
Oh my God, I would have loved to go to something like that with one of my my only American Girl doll.
Which one did you have?
Molly.
Oh my God, I had Samantha.
I wanted Samantha.
Really?
Yeah.
What?
No, I wanted Molly, but if I could have had another one, there was no way. But if I could have had another one, I loved Samantha.
Yeah. No, Samantha was like, I had my eye on her, and I'm like, I need to get her. Well, I didn't. I saved up my money. My parents did not buy it. I bought it for myself.
Oh, nice.
Yeah. My mom's like, okay, $100 doll. Yeah. You can save up for all your birthdays, and maybe so I would put the magazine on her pillow every night, and I'm like, don't forget. I was so determined to get what I want, but I was very patient. I was not like rude about it. I'm like, every day I'm like, listen, Mom, don't forget what we talked about. She's like, I didn't forget that you want the style. I'm like, okay, I'm just making sure. I did this since I was little, like with Barbies. Like every day she dropped me off at kindergarten, and I whisper in her ear, I want the gym Barbie, and I want the gymnastic Barbie, and I want the Beauty and the Beast Barbie. Okay, and she's like, okay. I'm like, okay, don't forget. I think she should have taken me to a shrink at that point. Like somehow if I say it 1,000 times, it will come true. I feel like the inns just become a part of the story.
Yeah, there's really not a whole lot that happens there. It's just part of their lives, and like scenes will happen there, but
oh, I know what's a good episode about it. Like some of the scenes is Sookie is on bed rest, and Luke takes over the kitchen.
Oh
and
my God! Yes.
And then before that, they think they have a ghost stealing the chocolates, and it's just Sookie sitting in the beds and eating the chocolates and watching Dark Shadows. And Lorelai finds out, and she's just like, "It's so comfortable." And I'm like, "Oh my God, that's such a good idea."
I really identify a lot with Sookie while she's doing being way too clumsy and setting a lot of fires in the kitchen, and just wanting to lay in bed and watch gothic
and eat
TV.
Chocolate.
Yeah, absolutely.
If you own an inn, I'd be sleeping out that inn all the time.
Why not? Yeah, if the room isn't being used, heck yeah.
I love how they just thought it was ghosts though. But in the later, so in the following years, or the extra episodes, like A Year in the Life, they talk about how like kind of the inn plateaus. There's not that they're losing anything, but it's not going anywhere, or like, it's very just, it can run on its own with a new person. And Michelle is kind of like, well, I want to grow more and I want to do more. And he's like urging her to get a spa, and then she's not sure. And then her mom's like, oh yeah, you should buy a spa and I'll give you the money or whatever. I don't know. It's like this whole thing. I can't remember actually the details of that, but in the end, she ends up buying a new space in town where she's going to do another inn or expansion or something.
Yeah.
And I'm curious to know what that looks like, because she obviously is good at her job and she has like a way with running things. So she should, but it's, I want them to redo that, not redo, but do more episodes just to see what she built.
Right. Yeah.
Is it a spa? How often is she going there? Is Sookie there?
Sookie in the back, just like drinking the champagne that they give to the guests.
I hope so. So here you found a subreddit or some Reddit page that goes on about the symbolism of the inns in the show having to do with Lorelai's life.
But also, in case, I'm sure this is a pretty well-known fact, but the Dragonfly Inn that they used in for filming is actually the same home that was used in The Waltons, the television show The Waltons. And before it was the Waltons family home, it was part of an Andy Griffith spin-off show called Mayberry RFD. So it's actually been a member of SAG-AFTRA, I guess, for a long time.
Yeah. Well, that whole set, it has been used like so many times for so many different things. I think all of Stars Hollow was also in Pretty Little Liars, and like so many movies.
But yeah, so I was going down a Reddit hole, and I found this user, My Dog Ate Your Pancakes, that was trying to explore like the symbolism that they saw in the inns, going along with what's happening in Lorelai's life. So the Independence Inn, pretty clear. Lorelai wants independence her whole life from her parents. And then this is the place where she finds a job, a place to live, makes her own life, and really tries to become as independent as she can from her parents and just her whole upbringing. Whereas the Dragonfly Inn is called the Dragonfly because dragonflies undergo a complete metamorphosis. But unlike butterflies or other winged insects with a pupal phase, they transition directly from larva to adult, according to this user. I have not fact checked this, so don't come at me. Lorelai completes her metamorphosis at the Dragonfly Inn. She fulfilled her adult dream and finally really grows up. It was at the opening that she even began her long-term love with Luke and ended the childish relationship with Jason.
Oh, yeah.
I don't remember Jason.
Digger.
Oh, Digger. Okay, thank you. I was like, wait, who's Jason? Okay. And I'm back on board. And ended her childish relationship with Digger and her old world. I hate that his name is Digger.
I mean, it wasn't supposed to be a compliment.
I know, but God, it's hard
that
to
whole
even
relationship
say.
was weird.
Yeah.
But I see why it needed to happen. She needed a different relationship in between like her other ones. The therapy that they all need is so much. I'm happy she finally got tricked into it in the later ones, but even Luke, like what, just so immature. Like, I just don't understand. How do you communicate so little with someone who you say you care so much about?
Yeah.
Just, I don't know. And even though Jason, aka Digger, he had his problems, I felt like he communicated with her way better than any of her boyfriends.
Mm-hmm.
Right?
Yeah, I really feel like really the one she had the most childish relationship one was with Chris.
Oh my God, Christopher. Ugh. Ew. I have an ill reaction only because he sabotaged her and Luke.
Yeah. Neither one of them could stop being children together. Like they still acted like they were 17-year-olds in their relationship. Yeah. Even them just like so spontaneously, spoiler alert, spontaneously running off and getting married. And like,
oh yeah,
like that's such a childish thing to do when you are doing it based purely off of I'm scared and have emotions that I can't deal with.
Yeah, yeah. And also just the whole... Okay, so I'm rewatching the episode where she hooks up with Chris and finds out his girlfriend is pregnant. So let's talk about this. He's not broken up with his girlfriend. He just goes MIA. And he's like, yeah, it's not working out. Like, what does that mean? Mm-hmm. Are you broken up? You should have said, I broke up. And so she says, like, oh, yeah, Christopher broke up with her. But it didn't really sound like that. And then they sleep together, which is like, well, I hope you are really broken up with her. And then after that, it's like, oh, she's pregnant. Okay, she's pregnant. That's shocking news. But you still don't want to be with her.
Yeah.
So even if she was pregnant, why would you be in a relationship with someone you don't want to be with? Like, you can still help raise the kid and be in
I know.
life,
it's like, why do you think that raising the child properly automatically equals you have to be in a relationship with someone that it's not working? Then all you're doing is bringing a child up and showing them that dysfunctional relationship and making that what they think they're supposed to look for. Like, no, you're being a bad parent still. Yeah.
And then eventually she leaves. I mean, Sherry, right?
Mm-hmm.
That's right. And she abandons the child for a bit because she has to figure out her own shit. Because, I mean, it's just, oh my God. Like, the whole thing was so stupid. Yeah. Again, another stupid thing. You could have still been with Lorelai.
Yeah.
But I think they could have been with each other for a long time. I don't think they were meant to be together. Obviously, they weren't. But, like... You're telling me 16 years after you have a kid, you haven't tried to date once?
Right.
You haven't had that conversation. Hey, maybe we should try this. We have like these feelings. Like,
yeah, these unresolved feelings.
Which it also seems like every time they see each other, they sleep together.
Yeah.
Like, that's not the first or second time that happened. So what's the story there? You know?
Yeah.
Just so many things about Gilmore Girls.
So yeah, that's why I really feel like that's the childish relationship she got rid of. But I think this user was right that like Dragonfly really that from larva to adult thing, because I think Lorelai thinks that she went from a child to an adult when she got pregnant and had a kid and moved out, but that is not when she stopped being a child and actually became an adult. So it's a cool difference between when Lorelai thinks that happened and when it actually happens when she's in her 30s.
Oh no, I think Lorelai becomes an adult in her
or 40s. Yeah, because she's
50s.
in her 40s whenever a year in the life happens, right?
Is she? I think she's closer to 50.
Well, because she's 32 at the beginning of.
Oh,
so she's got to be like 47 then, right? Because when Gilmore Girls ends, she's like 38.
Yeah,
right?
yeah. So
she is closer to 50.
Yeah. Both the inns were based on a real inn called the Mayflower, and although the Independence Inn doesn't have a history, this place does. It's originally 28 acres of land, which was occupied by the Ridge School, built in 1894. It was a private school for boys that closed its doors to learning in 1919. So in 1920, Harry von Cinderin, a former student of the Ridge School, converted the school into the Mayflower Inn. That's really interesting. I'm like imagining what that would be like, because that's kind of cool. It's like, I hate this place, but I'm gonna make something better out of it. So in 1953, First Lady Eleanor Roosevelt was a guest at the Mayflower Inn, and in 2016, the Clinton family stayed there. In 1990, the property was acquired by Washington residents Adriana and Robert Munchin. Am I saying this right?
I think it's Minuchin.
Minuchin? Why is it spelled that way? That's how it is, but I'm just saying I don't like it. Minuchin, after the inn had fallen to years of neglect. In 2007, they sold it to American Property Hospitality Management. And then in 2009, it was sold to J.H. Whitney Capital Partners, LLC. And then in 2010, the firm was foreclosed on for defaulting on a $21.5 million mortgage. Whoa. Then a year later, Three Wall Capital took over. In 2013, the Grace Hotels Group purchased its 58 acres for $18.6 million and changed its name to the Mayflower Grace. It changed a lot of hands. A lot of people bought this, but that's very interesting. I didn't know about it defaulting on its mortgage. So that made it a good deal for the Mayflower Grace. But then, they also temporarily, they changed its name to the Mayflower Grace, and then they changed it back when, in October 2018, am I going to say this right? Auberge?
I think that's right.
Auberge Resorts Collection took over management and now owns the Mayflower Inn and Spa. They also did a lot of renovations. I think in the early 2000s, they expanded, and then they redid it in 2018. Right?
Yeah, and I think that when it was Mayflower Grace, that hotel group was planning on doing a lot of renovations, which I'm sure they did some. And then in 2018, this group started renovations, and then in 2020, I think, is when all of the interior design was finished.
Oh, okay. Because I remember looking at it when it was called Mayflower Grace online. It was really pretty, but now it definitely has a different look.
Yeah, like they were saying, it was like a lot of gray and beige, and they thought that was too formal, and so now it's a lot of florals and pastels and wallpaper, and
it's designed really well. It kind of is giving Dragonfly Inn,
but
muted, like a lot tamer, which I actually like.
It's really nice. Yeah, it's supposed to be New England's country home, but you're like the upscale guest.
Oh, this is not cheap. This is expensive to stay.
Their spa looks amazing.
Their spa does look amazing. Listen, Mayflower Inn, we're requesting you pay attention to us and invite us to stay at your inn. I'm kidding, but I'm not. But it would be really cool. I would love to go there like on my birthday or do something. I would, for a special occasion.
Yeah.
I would totally stay there or have a treatment. It's gorgeous. It's so bougie and subtle. It's very, what's that, quiet luxury vibe? That's the vibe.
Yeah, its vibe is very different from the Independence Inn on Gilmore Girls, because Independence Inn is all dark wood and that very, old colonial look, whereas now Mayflower is just light and airy and open. There are a few darker places, like I think they have kind of like a library study kind of area that's a lot of the dark wood, but yeah, they pick and choose where to put it.
But they do a really good job, like where it's meant to be.
Yes, like it makes
bar.
sense there. Yeah.
It's in Washington, but you can still take like a small drive to the main downtown Washington Depot, I guess, where Gilmore Girls was, based off. So it would be like a cute little outing. And if you go in the fall, you can also go apple picking because there's a ton of orchards around there. So I really want to go.
Yeah, it's September, so this is coming up on fall. This is like prime time New England season. So,
and the food looks good too. They put a lot of work into this place. Like, this doesn't look generic in any way. This looks like someone put a lot of thought into every single aspect of this inn.
Okay, well, since we've finished talking about the inns, it is time for a little Gilmore Girls trivia. I feel like I'm going to be really bad at this because I like remember overarching themes. I don't remember small details.
I remember everything.
I know, so I'm sure you're going to win. Who wins the 24-hour dance marathon in the episode They Shoot Gilmores, Don't They? In season 3?
Kirk,
Dean, or Miss Patty?
Oh, I didn't even let you finish. It's Kirk. It's Kirk.
It is Kirk.
You knew that one.
I did know that one, yes.
Here's one. The first question on this one is, who created the show Gilmore Girls? And we already know.
Oh, I think I'm on the same website as you.
Oh, really?
Yeah. Okay, good.
Okay, so Amy Sherman Palladino.
Yeah.
In what year did Gilmore Girls first air on television?
2000.
I think it's 2001. But you're right. Okay, which character on the show is a harpist?
I remember them auditioning harpists for an event, but I don't remember there actually being a harpist on the show. Is it Kirk?
No, in the beginning episodes, they had the actress Alex Bornstein play this harpist in the inn.
Yeah, okay. No, I didn't
and then
realize.
They got rid of her because she had the TV show.
Was she in multiple episodes?
Yes.
I just remember them like auditioning her and her getting it right, and then I thought it never happened again.
No. She was hired, and they were, I think, going to add her as a character, but then she didn't. She couldn't actually do it. But she comes back to be Emily's stylist. That's 100 years old.
Oh,
so
okay.
The harpist's name is Drella. Who plays the town troubadour on the show?
Oh, I have no idea. I don't know actors' names.
Grant Lee Phillips.
I don't know who that is.
He's a singer, I guess.
What actor from Gilmore Girls went on to play the sibling of a character with the same name as his character from Gilmore Girls? Is it... Why are they with these names? One of the choices is Melissa McCarthy. Matt Suttree, Jared Padalecki, or Milo Ventimiglia.
I don't know.
It was Jared, who played Dean Forrester, went on to play Sam Winchester in Supernatural, a character whose brother is named Dean Winchester.
Oh, okay. I did not understand that question at all then.
Yeah, it was a weird one.
Yeah. What event does Stars Hollow celebrate in the pilot episode? Ooh.
Oh my God, they have so many events. Which one was in the first one?
I don't even remember this.
Was it like a Founders Day or like a Starlight, like their Stars Hollow Starlight?
No,
thing,
the town's
the fire-
bicentennial.
Oh.
I don't remember that.
The town's bicentennial?
Yeah.
But the town was founded in 1779. So their bicentennial would have been in 1979.
Someone didn't do the math. Someone making mistakes here. Okay, which famous musician guest stars in a series as Sophie Bloom? Oh, in the series as Sophie Bloom, the owner of the music store.
Oh my gosh.
Oh, come on.
Oh my God. Why do I?
She sings
so
the
terrible with
theme of
names.
the
Carol
song.
King.
Yes,
There it is.
okay.
I was just like, why can't I come up with her name? I love her.
What is the title of the last episode of the original series?
The title of the last episode. I don't know. All of their titles are so long.
This one's not that long.
Is it The End?
Kind of in a different language.
Fiend?
No. It's Bon Voyage.
Oh, okay.
In what year did the Netflix revival Gilmore Girls in a Year in the Life premiere?
2016?
Yeah.
Because I remember that was a really shitty year.
I remember I was waiting for two things. One, to find out who the president is going to be. And two, what the Gilmore Girls premiere. I was excited for one.
I was really excited about the Gilmore Girls premiere. That was the year that my boyfriend moved out here to LA without me. So that was a hard year.
Oh, yeah, that is a hard time.
Not his fault. I refused to come. So
but it's his fault somehow. What's a good question? Oh, what is the name of Lorelai's dog?
oh my God, it's another musician, Paul Anka.
Yes.
Oh, how many TV shows have made direct reference to Gilmore Girls?
At least 12.
Oh, this says 8.
Oh. Well,
it doesn't. It only it says Family Guy and many others. So I don't know.
I know for a fact that Will and Grace referenced Gilmore Girls when Jack was like, "Ugh, you're worse than the know-it-all daughter in Gilmore Girls." Mad TV made fun of them because they did a skit called the Gab Moore Girls. And then I know Family Guy did the same thing.
Yeah.
And then I'm just assuming there's a lot more Gilmore Girl people out there.
Yeah.
What is the name of the high school Rory attends before Chilton?
Stars Hollow High.
You are correct.
Well, because they are just not very creative. Stars Hollow Books. Stars Hollow High.
I want to ask you this question. What is the secret society Rory's boyfriend Logan is a part of at Yale?
Oh. Oh my God. Capitalists and criminals. The Screw Tape and Umbrella Society.
Entitled and annoying.
Yeah.
Come on.
I don't remember.
Fine. You failed this one. The Life and Death Brigade.
Oh, really?
Yeah.
That's so stupid. I'm sure that's why I didn't remember, because I didn't care for it.
What event does Stars Hollow hold annually on the first snowfall?
The fire or something?
On the first snowfall, they have an event.
The snow festival? The snowman contest? No, because you have to have snow for that.
It's more historical. I didn't know this. I'm looking at the answer and I'm testing you now.
Is it whenever they had their their supposed Revolutionary War thing, where they're just 12 guards waiting for redcoats that never come?
Yeah, the reenactment of the Battle of Stars Hollow.
Reenactment. Thank you. That was the word I could not come.
Oh, which band does Lane Kim join as a drummer?
Oh, I don't know the name of that band. I don't remember.
Okay, I know. Hep Alien.
Oh, I definitely did not remember that.
You're not a true fan.
That is the fictional inns of Gilmore Girls in one real inn in the real world.
Yes. And I know we rambled like Lorelai.
You won't know how much we rambled. You won't know how much we cut out.
No, we had to hold back. Thank you for joining us and listening to our weird opinions.
Thanks for listening to Hotel History. You can follow us on most social media platforms, Patreon, and Substack by searching for Hotel History or Hotel History Podcast. If you like what you hear, please leave us a 5-star review on Apple Podcasts and Spotify so we can reach more listeners.